Good morning. We are starting school. Actually, I had my kids come up about 45 minutes ago and start on some workbook work. So they've been up here working on that while I got other kids situated. And I'm in and out when they need help and stuff. So they're still working on some workbook stuff, and I just thought you guys might want to see what a day in the life of homeschool looks like. Our homeschool isn't all just sit down and do book work. So the state requires us 4 hours a day, and we include our piano lessons, any field trips that we do. And we don't necessarily just stick just to 4 hours either. It just can vary depending on what works for us that day. So this is our homeschool room. The kids sit here and do this. We have a whiteboard, we have bookshelves, and hope you enjoy. Okay. Also, when I say that my kids are doing some workbook work, the workbooks that we were using this year, now mind you, this is the first year we've started, so everything's not perfect how I want it. I'm going to work through the summer this summer to make sure that we have maybe a little bit better of a schedule and curriculum next year, but this is what we use this year. I don't know if you've ever heard of the homeschool website called Easy Peasy. But my kids started using the Easy Peasy website to begin with the year, and we just didn't really, it wasn't working for us when we first started it. We might try it next year again. It's a good curriculum, but we did keep the math workbooks, and that's what they do for their math workbook, is the Easy Peasy. And Aurora's in 2nd grade this year, and Harper's in 1st grade, and then Aislinn is in preschool. And then we recently got these spelling workbooks because my kids were having a hard time with spelling. So I bought these spelling workbooks off of Amazon, and they seem to be pretty good. They're more than just spelling. It's more like a whole kind of an English workbook, really. And it seems like it's helping them learn quite well. So we're working on spelling right now. And then another book that we've been using all year since we started, and I really like them, are the McGuffey readers. These are old school. These are the books. They look the same on the show Little House on the Prairie. They actually used these back then. I like these books. They're English, they're literature, their vocabulary teaches them how to read, and it teaches them principles. Actually, it talks a lot about God and what God does for us in our life and what to be grateful for. They're really good. It also teaches them script, so it's kind of like cursive, but it's a little bit different. And they are learning cursive this year too. I know a lot of public schools don't do cursive anymore because it's not prevalently used in our society anymore. However, I think it's important for them to learn some of the same things that I learned as a kid, and cursive is one of those things. Aurora actually can do cursive better than regular writing, and she actually does cursive better than I do. She writes in cursive with everything that she writes now, and it's just a good thing. The Declaration of Independence is written in cursive. If they don't know how to read cursive, they're not going to be able to read that and know what they're reading. So I think it's important, and so we've been learning that. They each have a different level of the McGuffey reader, and Harper goes through hers faster because her books are shorter. So she's actually done a kindergarten one and a 1st grade one this year, even though she's in 1st grade. It can't hurt, right, to learn a little extra. So that's what she's done. She right now is working also. We have, can I show them real quick? She hasn't caught on to cursive quite as fast, probably because she's younger and it just doesn't click till you're 2nd or 3rd grade. But she's working in this cursive handwriting book that I also got online. So it's Handwriting Without Tears, and it's the cursive one. So that's what she's working on right now. I've also found lots of different puzzles and game learning tools for kids. Aislinn right now is working on some shape puzzles. She's learning her shapes and how to put them together. And they look like this, and then they have one on each side. I just have different things like this for preschool age. She actually wasn't even supposed to be in preschool this year yet. She turned 4 in December, so according to our public school, she wouldn't have been in preschool till next year, but we started with her this year. She usually only sits with us through school for about half of it. She just isn't to the point of being able to sit for longer than that. And then we have our Layton, who just kind of runs around and gets into everything while we're doing school. So this is one of the hardships of homeschooling, is keeping your younger kids entertained and out of your hair while you're trying to help the older kids do school. So, but we've really benefited from homeschool. We're going to continue to homeschool. There's just so many reasons why I decided to homeschool. One of my biggest reasons, honestly, and this is probably a little controversial, but I was just really disappointed that I was hearing moms everywhere, and myself included. I actually felt this way also. I just can't wait for the summer to be over. I can't wait to send my kids back to school. They're in my way into everything. They're driving me crazy. I can't wait to send them away. And I just got to thinking about that and how that isn't the way God intended for us to raise our children, is to have someone else raise them. And when they're in public school, the majority of the day they are with someone else. And when they're not with someone else, they're supposed to be doing their homework. So we just decided that that wasn't the way that we wanted to work our family. And so my kids were really bad fighting all the time when they were together. And I just realized that part of it was because they weren't used to being together. They were at school separated most of the day, and when they did come home together, all they wanted to do was fight. And since homeschooling, they have learned how to get along so much better. And not only that, but I have learned how to not be so irritated by having my kids here all the time. I do have them take breaks during the day where maybe I get an hour to myself, if that, but for the most part we're just together all day, every day. And we've really started to enjoy that time. Another thing is, in school they're taking God out of school. And in all reality, God was never really that involved in school. I mean, it's not like they teach scripture study in school until you're in high school. So I really enjoy the fact that even in elementary school, I can do scripture study with them. We'll do that as soon as Aurora is done with what she's working on, and I'm going to show you what this year we've done for scripture study. You can get these books just like a Deseret book, or even probably online. And we already did the Book of Mormon, one of these, and it has the pictures and everything. Just scripture stories, and it's kind of written in like a more childish version that kids can understand. So we just kind of go through one story every day, and we may read the scriptures that are attached to it, and we just kind of talk about it. And then I have my kids journal about what they read, what we read, and what they learned. And they write a few sentences, a few paragraphs, and draw a picture to go along with it. And I think it kind of helps them remember what they learned. So, yeah, we will. Another curriculum that we've used this year that we're really enjoying is Life of Fred. If you're doing homeschool and you've never heard of Life of Fred, or you never looked into it, you need to. These books are just overall amazing. It's basically, it teaches some values. It teaches mostly math, but it also teaches a little bit of English and different things like that. And it's basically a story. So the kids don't even really know they're learning. we're reading a story, and at the end of each chapter, they have questions that they get to answer and see if they've retained what we learned during that chapter. And it goes through, I have the elementary version right now, and we're almost halfway through this elementary curriculum already. These kids are learning stuff that I don't even remember learning in high school, so it's pretty awesome. We did apples, so each book has a title that starts with the alphabetical letters. So we did apples. Aislinn, just one moment. We did butterflies next. Then cats. We did dogs next. Then we did Edgewood. And now we're working on farming. And there's actually 4 more books that we haven't done yet, so I don't know if we're going to get through them this year. We only have about 28 days left before we hit our 180-day goal, but we probably will do some school through the summer also. So I think we're ready to move on to scripture studies, so we hope you guys want to join us for that. Okay, go sit down and get out your scripture journals, please. Put these back in there.
Yes, ma'am.
Another thing I've been doing with my kids, but we haven't been super consistent about it, I need to get a little flag that we can have in the house. But we have a flag that we post outside and we do the pledge. The reason we haven't been super consistent with it is because it rains here a lot in Georgia, and we don't want our flag out in the rain. We also don't want to go out in the rain when it's raining, so we need to get a little flag so we can do it more consistently here inside the house. But even Cohen at 2 years old can say a lot of the words in the pledge because we've done it enough. So that to me is pretty awesome. Okay, so we're going to do our scripture story, and today we're going to be learning about how Jesus commanded the winds and the waves. Another thing that might be kind of interesting, I don't know, but we didn't have an extra room for our homeschool room, but we did have this top of our landing that we didn't really have a whole lot going on with. So we kind of just made it into our homeschool room. And honestly, I haven't spent a lot of money building a homeschool room or anything like that. But one thing I did do is we have a linen closet there, and I went ahead and I emptied out all the linens, and we use it for our homeschool supplies. So it's kind of a mess right now because we're nearing the end of the year, but I'll kind of show you what I got going on here. So we just have some different papers and such, crayons, colored pencils, puzzles, games, stuff to keep the little kids entertained, erasers, glue, paint, just different stuff like that, and this is where we keep it all. So it's been pretty helpful to not have it all just out in the middle of our room or something. Just one idea I had, and it seems like it's worked pretty well, so. So, in thinking of homeschooling, I got to thinking, should I do this? Shouldn't I do this? School was really hard for me. I'm not like a super bright person. I haven't had any higher education. I'm not a teacher, nothing like that. So I was like, can I really teach my kids what they need to know? And honestly, I'm kind of learning along with them. And when they get into the higher grades, like middle school and high school, we will probably do some type of online charter school or something like that where they can learn what they need to learn, because it'll probably be above my head by that point. But as far as like kindergarten, preschool, elementary, all of that, I think we can learn what we need to learn from books, and I just kind of learn right along with them. So it's kind of a refresher for me, because this is stuff I learned and haven't used since then, so I forget, but it's a good refresher course for me to go through this as well. Okay. Another thing that might be, I don't know, if you're considering homeschooling and haven't ever done it before. So obviously all my kids are not in the same grades. They're 1 or 2 grades behind each other. And it's kind of like, okay, do I teach one of them for 4 hours, their grade, and then another one for 4 hours, their grade, and another one for 4 hours, their grade? Some parents might do it that way. I don't have time for that. I have 5 kids. If I was to try and teach each one of them for 4 hours a day, that would be more than the time I have in a day to teach. So what I do is I just kind of do the same curriculum for all of them, and if they're not comprehending it because it's over their head as far as grade level, then we don't push it on them. But I kind of think it's actually dragging my first grader ahead of maybe where she would have been, because we're even learning more than second grade stuff in a lot of instances. Her McGuffey reader is actually at a 6th grade level. So as far as like their books and stuff, I get them, and their workbooks, I get them the grade that they would be, or maybe a grade ahead of what they would be. But as far as the curriculums that we do together, like Life of Fred and stuff, we actually just do one curriculum, and it's not a one-size-fits-all type of thing, but a lot of the things my first grader can comprehend, and there's things my first grader can comprehend that my second grader doesn't comprehend, and vice versa. So they're both learning from the same curriculum, and it's kind of interesting to see, and I'm learning from it as well. So but we're just kind of waiting for Harper to get done. Sometimes we have to wait for one of them longer than the other, and that's okay. We want to give them plenty of time. I don't want my kids to feel rushed. I don't want them to feel stressed out about school. I want them to love to learn. That's another reason why I really wanted to homeschool, because I feel like so many kids in public school these days are being pushed and pushed so hard and have so much work that it stresses them out. They hate learning, they hate going to school, and because of that, they're not retaining the information that they would if they were loving what they were doing. So I want my kids to learn to love. I want them to love to learn so that they can retain that information and that they enjoy it. Okay, so two of the subjects that I've struggled with the most are science and history. You know, in school, those were probably the two subjects that I didn't like the most. So it's hardest for me to teach those because I'm just like, I don't know what to teach. But anyway, so I found for history, what we did most of the year is a lot of our stuff we find at thrift stores, just by the way, or online. But we found these books at a local thrift store that has different presidents and different historical figures. So, and they're kind of complex, maybe a little bit older than a first or second grade level, but we've actually really enjoyed learning about these different important historical figures. So what we've done is we've gone through and we just read a chapter a day on different people and then move on to the next when we're done with that book. But I kind of realized and in each book they're learning more than just about this person, because they might be learning about, you know, World War II or different problems in history and stuff like that. But I realized we probably needed to learn more world history and stuff as well. So I found this book actually at Sam's Club, and I'm really having to sift through it because there's a lot of stuff in here that I don't agree with. Like when I very first opened it up to the very first page here, it talks, actually it was the second page, it talks about people evolving from apes, which is not something that I believe, and nor do people within my religion, but so, you know, I'm having to sift through and teach them, but it's actually the things that are not in my belief system are teaching tools to teach them. You know, some people believe this, we just don't. And so that's kind of what I've done with this. I'm hoping next year to find maybe more of a historical book that I agree with everything. However, it has had a lot of stuff in here like about Europe and stuff. Like we learned about the Colosseum one day, and so we read all of this information and then we watched a video on the Colosseum. It was really interesting. So we kind of I've just really made up my own curriculum this year. We aren't going by any one thing. I'm just trying to fit 4 hours in a day. So, and then for science, I was lucky enough to find 4 of these science books. They're Addison Wesley. I think, you know, it was just some, I found these at a DI actually in Logan, Utah, but there was 4 of them, and I think these are probably old science books from some elementary that got rid of them, which is what I'm finding a lot, is a lot of elementaries are tossing out their old stuff, and I'm snapping them up because a lot of this older stuff, you know, that Common Core is phasing schools out of, I want, because I don't necessarily like the new system that they're going to. So we have 4 of these that'll easily get us through this year and possibly most of the next. And we just go through and it has different words and stuff that they're learning. We're learning all about, you know, the earth and dinosaurs and just animals and just different things in here. So it's perfect for their age group, I think. And so we're gonna do a little bit of history first, and then we're gonna move on to science. So girls, if you wanna come sit down, we'll move next.
Is it cracked?
Okay, I'm gonna give you each, be quiet, 'cause I'm gonna give you each some of these stands, and I want you guys to write some hieroglyphics. So some symbols that can mean words.
Way more than me. No, this is less than me right here. I can get a handle.
Hold on. Okay, please try not to get it all over the table. Just keep it on your...
Okay, can you get us some knives, please? I want the wood knife. You have to write like a sentence in hieroglyphics. For you. I wonder what I'm gonna write.
So these girls are going to take some kinetic sand and they're going to write some hieroglyphics. I told them to write a sentence in hieroglyphics with this, so we'll see how it goes here. Should be kind of fun though, huh?
Yeah, I thought of something.
So make symbols that stand for words.
I just have no idea what I'm gonna write. Draw.
Love it. Really? I feel like everyone's gonna think it's weird. Are you kidding? I think that it's awesome. Is that all you have to tell me, that your hair changes color
Okay, that's a bad point. I'm just gonna draw the ladder for playing. I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay. Hey, Mommy.
I am playing. That's your sentence.
Period. Okay, I'm gonna build a big thing, a sand castle in this cup. I have no idea. No, that's not what
You
I'm.
can do a circle.
No.
You can do a circle one to start with.
No. Can I have another cup, please?
No? Okay, you're good.
There's still a little sand in there. What am I?
Okay, you're flipping sand though when you do that.
Push it down.
So another thing to note, and again, this is my first year, so I'm obviously probably not going to stick with everything I've done this year, next year, just out of, learning and figuring it all out. But I've just been taking a notebook, and every day we've written what we've done, and who was there, and what time we started, and what time it was when we did these different things and stuff.
No.
And so hours and hours of stuff here, but just kind of for my record, in our state, what we have to do is we have to send in every year to the school, the local school, a letter of intent to homeschool, which you just print the letter off the internet, sign it, and take it into the school. And then after the end of grade 3, they have to start testing every year to see where they're at. And I guess, because we haven't gotten there yet, or we'll be in 3rd grade next year, but what I guess you do is you find like somebody local or online that is a certified teacher, and then you can have them administer your test to kind of see where your child's at. And the funny thing about this is you print the paperwork off and you keep it for your records. It's not even for state records. So I don't know why exactly, but I guess just so that you as a teacher can see where your child is at.
Can you bring the camera over here?
So our state is really easy. The state we just came from is even easier. You don't have to do letter of intent. Your state doesn't have to know what you're doing as far as homeschooling or anything. Harper is just desperate for me to show you what she is making with her
Okay, Mom.
kinetic sand.
I just want you seeing this. I don't want the whole world. Look, this is a smile.
So another thing reason why I really wanted to homeschool is I think one of the things that they're taking out of schools that I think is really important is classic reading, classic books. For this age, stuff that we read growing up, Huck Finn, Tom Sawyer, just different things like that. Wind in the Willows, Anne of Green Gables, and these are all books that we've read so far. But another book I really enjoyed when I was in school was The Boxcar Children. And so I went ahead and purchased on Amazon, I think it was like $33, this set of Boxcar Children books. So we right now are on the 2nd book, and my kids are absolutely loving it. It's just, interesting, fun, exciting. They learn different things from it, I think. So anyway, that's one of the things that we really like about homeschool. And picking our own curriculum. Another book that actually has helped me in homeschooling that I bought was this book called What Your Child Needs to Know and When. And there's actually tests in the back of it that for the different grade levels can tell you, kind of where your kid needs to be. And that has been really helpful for me to kind of go through and decide, how I can teach them those different things that their age group could easily know by that time. So this actually has stuff about according to the Bible also what your kids need to know and when, and according to the state what your kids need to know and when. So it's pretty interesting. Another book that's really popular to read when you are thinking of homeschooling is The Well-Trained Mind. Another one that I read that really influenced me, and I've actually read it a couple of times. Let me see if I can find it.
What is it? Hard finding these now.
I may have borrowed it to somebody, but I'm trying to find it. It's called The Thomas Jefferson Education. So if you're looking for a really good book to read, if you're on the fence about homeschooling and you don't know if you want to for sure, it's called, and I think I must have borrowed it out or else it's not on my bookshelf here, but it's called The Thomas Jefferson Education. And it just kind of talks about public schools nowadays and stuff, so it's really interesting. And of course, Thomas Jefferson, one of the smartest people in history, so for them to kind of go off of the way he was taught and everything is really interesting to learn also. So anyway, some good books to read. We're going to finish up here with science and reading some of the Boxcar Children, and we hope you enjoyed joining us today. These kids just are absolutely loving homeschooling. I can't say that enough. Aurora is a social butterfly. I honestly didn't know how she would do homeschooling. I didn't know if she would enjoy it or not. I don't think she'd want to go back to public school if I had tried to force her to. She would probably resist. Harper had some anxiety issues with school. She just really stressed out about every little thing to the point where she was having meltdowns for hours a day because of being worried about what to wear to school and making sure she was up on time and going to lunch and breakfast at school. And she was having a hard time in class, and I talked to her teacher lots about raising her hand when she didn't know. She doesn't like to be the center of attention, so she never wanted to raise her hand, and she would just sit there and cry. She cried a lot at school. And she does some here at homeschool also, but it has way lessened. So I really think it's been the best for our family, and we hope that you watching our video might help you make a decision, and we hope you have a good day. We'll see you later.